This is KGW News at Sunrise.
Scammers are targeting parents, even using artificial intelligence to make them believe their child has been kidnapped.
Mom, I'm with them, pay them, and that's a scary thing, if you think your child is with them.
We'll talk more about how this scam works so you don't fall for it. Plus,
people that were here said it felt like a bomb exploded.
This is definitely some of the craziest local video we've seen over the last week. That truck barreling into a bar in Boring. Somehow, you can see there are people right there on the other side of the wall that gets hit by that truck. Somehow those people walked away. There were a few broken ribs. We also talked to the bar owner who says this isn't the first time that a car or truck has crashed through their bar.
And a love for space will send an Astoria man's ashes out of this world. His trek to the stars and the friend that's helping him get there. That's coming up.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Wow, what stormy weather we had last night. Rod is going to talk about what's on the way today.
It was mostly downpours. There was some lightning, but not a lot. It was mostly downpour activity. We'll talk more about that coming up. But we had over an inch of rainfall in under an hour in a lot of spots around Beaverton. Tigard areas seem to be hit really bad. Right now, no lightning showing up anywhere. We do have some heavier showers out toward Pendleton. A little bit of rain offshore, but otherwise we're pretty quiet, and we have blue skies up top over the city. 46 degrees is the current temperature, so quite pleasant out the door. This is mainly a quiet day. 61 at noon. I do include a spotty shower chance in the forecast because the rain chance is not zero, but most areas will probably stay dry, and it'll be 68 degrees at 5 p.m. The heat wave is still a go for the weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up as well.
Rod, thank you. Our top story this morning, scammers are preying on a parent's worst fear. Several local families say callers are claiming to have their kids and demanding money for their safe return.
And we're starting to learn just how convincing some of these calls can be. KGW's Catherine Cook also found out that this is happening to parents with kids of all ages.
It could be very traumatizing for parents to have to deal with.
Steve Padilla with the Reynolds School District has a warning. He says scammers have been calling parents claiming to have kidnapped their kids. For their return, they demand money through cash apps or wire transfers. Padilla says the scammers also use AI technology to mimic the sound of children.
And then have that noise of, Mom, I'm with them, pay them, and that's a scary thing, if you think your child is with them and they're saying pay them so that they can get them back.
Padilla says scammers are hitting families of middle and grade school age kids in his district. They all spoke Spanish, and so did the scammers. But it's not just happening here. Besides Reynolds, Centennial, Park Rose, and Gresham Barlow schools are also warning of scam attempts.
It's sick for anyone to be willing to scam someone like that.
Scammers, they're so desperate, they come up with different things every day, preying on anybody and everybody that will listen.
And not just parents of young kids.
Folks, beware.
Gary Overman's son is Oregon State tight end Jake Overman. Last week, Gary says a scammer called him claiming to be an OSU campus police official. He told Gary that Jake was in custody for being drunk and disorderly and demanded hundreds of dollars.
And that if I paid these, then it was going to be swept under the table and not become public knowledge, nor would they have to turn my son into the state police.
What the scammer didn't know is Jake was home with his family on break. Gary says the scammers used technology to make the call sound more convincing.
And it sounded good and it sounded authentic. As mentioned earlier, with the background noise that this gentleman had, like they were at a police department. Very clear and very understanding. It wasn't like I was talking to another country.
University officials tell KGW scammers have called the families of 5 OSU football players. Sadly, one family made a payment. School officials asked coaches to talk with athletes and encourage them to warn their parents. Gary and Padilla hope they listen.
$1,000 is worth getting your child back, but it's a scam and we don't want them to lose their money.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
And these scams do seem to be personalized for each target. Police say they're really tough to track because the calls are often coming from outside the United States. Officials say if you hear from one of them, stay calm, check on your child's safety yourself, and do not give in to their demands.
Now to a developing story decades in the making. A judge granted the release of a man who was once convicted of killing the chief of Oregon prisons. Frank Gable was sentenced to life in prison in 1991 for the murder of Michael Franke. Another man confessed multiple times, but the trial judge mistakenly didn't allow the confession. Nearly all of the witnesses from that trial have recanted. After 30 years, a judge threw out the case and ruled the state cannot retry Gable in the case.
Our next story this morning comes from Boring, so check out this video we're showing next to me. It shows a truck barreling into a bar, and the camera angle from inside the bar is even crazier. This happened last Friday night at the Timber Pub off Highway 212. I mean, you can see the customers there that got hit. Somehow they managed to avoid serious injuries. Some did break ribs, but none of them were in the hospital for long. They're all back home this morning. The owner of the bar tells us this is the 5th or 6th time that a vehicle has run into their building. So ODOT is investigating to figure out why this has happened so often there. It seems that speed was the main factor behind this most recent crash.
Driving way too fast. People fly through that intersection. It's scary. People that were here said it felt like a bomb exploded.
The owners just talked to ODOT on Monday, so ODOT is now looking to see if there's anything they can do to try to make that spot safer.
A landslide has canceled all Amtrak trains between Portland and Seattle. Passengers can take buses instead. Amtrak tells us the slide yesterday covered the railroad tracks about 6 miles north of Vancouver. Those routes could reopen tomorrow. Routes between Portland and Eugene to the south and then Seattle and Vancouver, BC are not affected by the slide.
Wow, look at that. This is in case you missed the thunderstorm that rolled through the Portland metro area last night. Spots around Beaverton also saw small hail. Thanks to Kevin, by the way, for sharing his video with us. There was flooding too. Take a look at this southwest Portland neighborhood. Michael sent us this video of Ash Creek overflowing into his backyard. And nearby, firefighters say water flooded out about 14 homes near Southwest 62nd and Dickinson. Some of them had basements that were totally underwater.
We had it over in Clackamas as well. About 5 o'clock, we looked outside. I'm like, what's going on?
Right.
It's been a pretty rainy spring for the most part.
Yes,
but yesterday, one of my sons was saying, Dad, I don't think it's rained this hard this spring.
Well, you could probably say it hasn't rained this hard in 5 years in any particular location, or even 10. We don't see these type of rain rates very often. At one point, the radar was showing about 2.5 inches of rain an hour, meaning if that cell would have stayed in the same spot in an hour, that's how much would it come down. We had a spot in Tiger that got over an inch in 20 minutes. We don't see it very often come down like that. That is over, thank goodness, and today looks to be pretty quiet. Our 7-day attention is still on the mini heat wave that's coming our way, mini because it looks like it only lasts a few days. But here we go with the latest numbers. Friday's the day you'll start to really feel it warming up, but 85 still not bad. And then Saturday, 92, so that is my forecast high unchanged. That would tie the record for the date. Sunday, I've jacked up to 95. That would break the current record for the date of 91. Monday, 92. That would be very close to the current record of 93 degrees. And right now it looks like Tuesday would potentially cool into the 80s, but we could still be well up into the 80s next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So a pretty good run of hot to warm weather in the forecast. All right, here's what's going on right now. No lightning being currently detected, but we've got heavy downpours out in the basin just a little bit west of Pendleton right now. We've got a little bit of light rain trying to nip along the north coast up there in Clatsop County, but so far staying offshore. And we have this over downtown Portland, beautiful blue skies. We're at 46 degrees. You saw some shallow fog pockets down in that camera shot. 48 in Kelso. Newport's cool at 41. That matches Bend and Burns and Baker City each in the 30s this morning. Futurecast shows a pretty quiet day. It's one of those days the rain chance is not zero. I do have a spotty shower chance in the forecast. Futurecast does show that we get some showers, maybe some isolated thunderstorms along the Cascades later today. That's at 4:30, and that's still going on down around Mount Jefferson overnight. The wider view shows scattered showers out east, but what we had yesterday has moved off into Idaho and now moving over into Montana. That's where the action will be most noticeable. So mainly a dry day, partly cloudy, temperatures the 60s, McMinnville, Salem, and Corvallis. Winds will be on the light side. Here come our 7-day numbers, 68 today, 74 tomorrow. By the way, this is new. Thunderstorms expected to become quite numerous along the Cascades tomorrow afternoon. Maybe some of that spills into the valley. We'll keep an eye. Otherwise, there are the numbers, 85 Friday and the 90s Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and that is your forecast.
Hey, Rod, take a look at this. The Morrison Bridge this morning, all lit up in turquoise to raise awareness about lung cancer. So Lung Cancer Action Week started on Sunday. It will end this coming Sunday, which is also Mother's Day. It's all part of the Turquoise Takeover, as it's called. It's an initiative through the American Lung Association. You can head to lungforce.org to learn more about early detection and screening.